the Mundane Guys, the show where you and I are able to glean life-giving lessons from everyday things all around us, otherwise known as the mundane. I myself am your humble host for these next few minutes. My name is Jason, or you can call me Jace, and I hope to essentially bestow upon you the chance to learn something amazing, the chance to learn something potentially life-changing. Of course, if you've been watching all my previous videos up until this point, you know that this is not my typical setup because I'm not at my place. I have been taken. I have been taken away from my apartment. All right, not against my will, thankfully, but vacationing essentially for the new year, and I'm grateful for that. But I thought it very important that I keep up this, this streak. And by streak, I just mean, keep up the consistency of putting up these videos. Um, Not only just for me, but also for the impact that I believe it will have in at least the life of one person that gets to see this video. As long as this video gets one view, I'm happy. And I know that, either, those closest to me, you know, either that or like my mom or my brother, they'll at least watch it. So I've got at least two views, and I've got my girlfriend watching as well, which is that's the third one, the third view lined up. So I'm good on at least three people. Okay, you gotta start somewhere, guys. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on for too long because I'm notorious for that. Today we're talking about to-do lists. All right, to-do lists. And this video was on my to-do list, but I'd like to start with a quote. All right, from Randy Pausch, who was listed as Time Magazine's, well, by Time Magazine as one of the world's top 100 most influential people. And he said the following: to-do lists help us to break life into small steps. Nice, short, and sweet, because frankly, that's exactly what I'd like to convey to you. It breaks life into small steps. When you look at a delicious steak dinner or a plentiful, organic salad, you do not just take that entire thing and try to shove it into your mouth or, teleport it from the plate to your stomach somehow, right? No, you take one bite at a time. All right, that is your to-do list. Okay, I'm going for this next bite. We do it subconsciously, but that is how we survive. That is how we absorb things, right? It's how we breathe. You take one breath at a time, not just every bit of oxygen you'll ever need in your entire life happens when you're born. It's one breath at a time. So why is it that we think that progress and success is limited to only explosive results? So, in light of all that, we broke it down in about 5 bullet points for you guys. So let's run through those real quick and then we'll wrap up the video so that you can go celebrate the rest of New Year's with your family and I can go figure out what's going on downstairs. Okay, so number one, focus. It's the easiest, point that you can make about to-do lists. It helps you to focus, right? It makes the goals attainable. It's not distant, right? It's quantifiable steps is a term that we like to use. And by quantifiable, that means you can count them, you can measure them, you can track them, right? So if you say create a goal list, right? New Year's resolution, that can be a goal list. But based on each one of those resolutions, if you do not create a to-do list with smaller bite-sized steps that lead you up to that grand success, I can almost guarantee you that that goal is more so likely to not be accomplished. And this is where I urge you to be real with yourself, okay? You got to be honest with yourself. Because as far as sharing with you what I'm sharing with you right now, it's not because I, either want to be famous or make a lot of money or because I think I've got it all figured out. I am learning this stuff as we go along, and I'm thinking to myself, I would have wanted to know this a lot sooner, right? So whether you're younger than me or or at the same age bracket or older than me. There's no time that's too late to learn these sorts of lessons. Okay, so bullet point number one is about focus. It helps you to focus. Wrapping up my New Year's resolution example, something like, I want to lose 5 pounds in 6 months, so that, or I want to lose 5 pounds, yeah, in 6 months. We'll make it that much, right? Something like that is a great goal to have. If weight loss is your thing, or you want to gain 5 pounds of lean muscle if you want to build it. Either way, a to-do list. Another way of putting this would be make a plan, right? But we're going through the route of to-do lists. You can make it as intricate, as complicated, or as simple as you like, as long as it's in steps, as long as it's in stages that gradually ascend up until that point of ultimate success. That's what you want. But a to-do list gives you a direction to go in. So focus. Number two, it is a guide. It doesn't just tell you where to go, it takes you along with it. And that's what I'm talking about when I mention gradual steps, ever evolving, an ever evolving process. Don't let the words scare you. It all just means progression. That's all it means, right? It's any good movie that you've ever watched, any good show that you stayed glued to, all of them had progression. All of them had stages. There was the beginning, the onset of the conflict, the climax of good versus evil, or, will she, tell him how she really feels? Will he ask her out? Whatever it is that your genre, tastes, cause you to subscribe to, all of those things that you find yourself attached to, that you find yourself glued to, whether it's a good book, it's all stages. Nothing stays the same that is actually interesting or worthwhile or life-changing. It's always evolving. So why should our plans and our goals stay stagnant and stay rigid, right? Always be adaptable, but understand that you'll get nowhere if you don't follow the guide, which is your plan, your to-do list, right? So it's super helpful for forgetful people. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that I'm learning this stuff as well, because even in my own life, I'm not always tracking things. I'm not always remembering, hey, you need to do this, hey, you need to do that. Sometimes I'm great at helping other people remember stuff. But as for myself, all right, let's just be honest. Sometimes as a guy, I don't want to do the extra work, and I'm just like, I got it. It's in here, locked away. We're good. We're straight. But it's not really locked away. And then something comes along, life gets crazy, I get stressed or whatever it is, and it just slips away, not of my own, volition, or, not of my own design or desire. It's just you get caught off guard sometimes. But walking by your bathroom mirror and seeing that list of things that you wanted to accomplish by the end of the day, it can remind you, oh my gosh, I totally forgot this. Let me go take care of this real quick. Or, oh my gosh, I totally forgot this. Okay, that's going to be my priority next, tomorrow morning, first thing, you know? And of course, we'll get to that later, but crossing things off, it does something for you. So, let's move on to part B of number 2, which is we're still talking about a to-do list being a guide, right? It helps with workflow. A guide takes you, essentially, imagine the guide holding your hand and taking you, okay, let's go here. Watch out for this step. All right, watch out for that step. Okay, over here you want to make sure you go faster so you avoid that. Or over here you want to make sure you slow down so that you can appreciate this and that and there, right? The guide can help you. The guide teaches you. The guide regulates you, right? And it's for your own safety. It's for your own benefit. It's for maximum productivity with a manageable amount of work, right? You don't want to be at either of the extremes because that's just a recipe for disaster, and it's going to burn you out, trust me. If there's anything I know, it's burnout. And that's just from, being overzealous or too ambitious and not having proper goal setting techniques or skills or habits, And that falls under the to-do list. So let's move on to number 3. It makes it tangible. It makes your goals tangible. Okay, so it makes vision tangible as opposed to an abstract concept. It brings it to light. We hear terms like manifestation, like, oh my gosh, you gotta manifest your vision. You gotta just manifest your dreams. You gotta manifest your goals. You gotta manifest your desires. All of that kind of stuff. We hear that from speakers, from our friends, whatever it is. Yes, manifest. Or, dude, you gotta manifest, bro. Get that muscle in the gym. Get the pump. Manifest. I don't know where I'm getting all these different skits from, but either way, it's all, maybe they don't use the word manifest, but it's still the same concept, right? You're taking something that is co- conceptual, it's in your mind, it's an idea, and you're trying to bring it into the natural, into the physical. That is a manifestation. That is what to-do lists help you to do. It manifests, right? Next up, we have it relieves stress, and that's under the umbrella of still tangible, right? Because if you know what the next step is, you don't have to rack your brain trying to figure out, okay, what do I need to do next because I'm lost. I can't count on both my hands and both my feet how many times in life that I've sat around, wasted hours, wasted months. Whew! And this one stings me personally because I'm still working on my degree, on my associates, and I'm 26. And different people have different journeys. I get that. But for me, personally, it stings. It kind of stings. Especially that my younger brother, by 4 years, already has his AA. And he's working on, yeah, he already has his AA. And my sister, by 2 years, I think she already has her bachelor's. Yeah, she already has her bachelor's. She's working on her master's right now. Oh my gosh. So, I'm a little late to the game. Why? Is it because I wasn't smart enough? No. Is it because I wasn't, driven and ambitious and had skill or talent? No. It's because I had no focus. And it's because each time it came down to making a decision, I was so stressed and bogged down by just not knowing where I'm supposed to go because I never had any tangible goals or dreams to write down and to focus on and to chase after for any, proper amount of time. The amount of stress that was on me, the best thing that I thought I could have done at that time was to disconnect, was to pull away, was to, try and find somewhere to go and breathe, even though I was the one choking my own success because I had no direction. My goals were not tangible. I had no clear goals. So stress was a huge part of my life, and that slowed down my pursuit of academics. And whether you believe academics are necessary or not, just switch it for whatever it is in your life. You know what it is that you have not done, that you know you could have, that you know you should have, but you haven't done it yet. And there's no real good reason for that delay aside from you. My school thing, that stings me. So my question to you is, what stings you? And can a to-do list break you out of that rut? I think it can. So let's move right along. Last point for tangible. It creates marker stones. It helps you to keep yourself in check. It helps you to remember, hey, this is where I'm going, but also this is where I've come. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Well, we'll talk about that right now. Number 4, celebrating. To-do lists are one of the greatest tools you can have in your arsenal for celebrating your own success. Do you know how important celebrating your success is? All right, I'll go on that in a second. I don't want to take too much time. But to-do lists give you something quantifiable to celebrate. I like using the word quantifiable. I'm sorry, sue me. Don't actually. But quantifiable, something quantifiable to celebrate. Guys, let's go party. Let's go, pour one out for the boys. Oh, what's the occasion? We're just pouring one out for the boys. There's a time for that where you just go out and you have fun just to have fun. But let me tell you, it's a different kind of party. It's a different kind of celebration. It's a different kind of, yo, high five, bro. Or high five, girl, you got this. When it's on the tail end of you crossing something off a list. It's a much different kind of handshake. It's a much different kind of hug when you're hugging that person because, oh my gosh, this thing has been bothering you for the longest time, and I know because you've complained about it for years, but you finally did this and you did that, and it's not over yet, but you've you've progressed so far. Look at where you've come from, you know? And change that to your own story. That thing that I asked you that stings, I'll tell you this right now. It would not sting for you if you were an irresponsible, completely lost, immature person that has no bearing on life, that desires no greatness whatsoever. It wouldn't bother you. So if it stings you, don't hide from that sting. Don't think that the sting is a reason to, cower and think to yourself, I'm ashamed. Because a part of what, stifled my pursuit of getting back into school, which I'm already back into school now, thank God, right? A part of that was my own shame, was, let me just not look at it. Because if I don't look at it, it doesn't exist to me, at the very least in my mind. But it still affected me, right? So don't look at your sting as something to hide away from, to turn away from, to feel ashamed about. If it stings you, it's for a good reason. It's calling out to you. And if it stings you and not someone else, it's because you're built to take over that thing. You're built to conquer it. You're built to fight it. And a to-do list can help you with that. Having a goal can help you with that. Having a guide can help you with that. Having a focus can help you with that. Having something tangible to hold on to when you don't know what else to do can help you with that. But don't forget to celebrate the small things. Okay? Lastly, on that, ambition is good. Ambition is great. It's amazing. It's good to be ambitious. It's good to chase after success, to not settle for less, to not be somebody that's okay with just the average. And don't get me wrong, average is different for a lot of people, okay? Sometimes staying after work an extra hour and a half is someone's average. And, their excess would be, staying after work 2 or 3 hours. For some people, just making it to the end of the day and not leaving early is like, hey, I'm doing good. you know, Usually they slip out the back door at about, 20 minutes to closing. Average is different for everybody, just like great performance or poor performance is different for everybody. But whatever your average is, and life will change that over time, be flexible with that. But whatever your average is, I would encourage you that when you're populating your to-do list, okay, that you create it to the point that you have small enough steps that it doesn't take you 5 months before you're crossing something off the list. That it doesn't take you 16 days before you can cross something off the list. Of course, for the bigger bracket items, yeah, it'll take time, but have some smaller things in between that'll get you there. It's kind of like climbing a ladder. You don't just have one spoke right here. Let's hope it's spokes. You don't just have one spoke right here, or step ladder. Okay, all right, cool. All right, we got it, guys. All right, steps. You don't just have one step at the bottom, and then 5 feet up, you have another step, and then 16 feet up, you have another step. You have steps at every step of the way. You have steps at every point, right? There's a pattern. there's consistency. That's a great word. Consistency. So have consistency in your goal setting as far as don't spread everything out so thin. It's good to have ambition, but if you can't celebrate the little things that get you there, whew, this is what I said. Ambition is good, but it is dangerous to take progress for granted. Somebody needs to put that on their fridge right now, or their bathroom mirror, or their fridge's mirror. Ambition is good, but it is dangerous to take progress for granted. All right. And lastly, for application, spring cleaning is a great example. It's essentially, whether you're familiar with American culture or whatnot, spring cleaning is essentially the term that we use when it's just that day on that weekend when we want to just clean up the house, right? And so in spring cleaning, you create a to-do list. All right, kids, we've got the living room, the bathroom, the guest room. Next week, we're doing the rest of the house. But today, we're doing the living room, the bathroom, and the guest room. Okay? That can be a to-do list. That right there, that's it. But what if, instead of waiting for those kids to, or for you and the kids to do the complete living room, bathroom, and guest room before you celebrate, or even just to do the living room, what if one thing on the to-do list was put away toys in toy bin? And that could take like 2 seconds, but it's something that you can, oh, hey, good job. The next thing, dust the blinds, rearrange furniture, sweep up the tile, vacuum the rug. If you want to be funny with it, turn on music. Put it on the to-do list. Share 5 hugs before the end of the cleaning, and make it like, hey, you're gonna miss this, the to-do list is not complete until I get my 5 hugs, guys, and then have fun with your family, have fun with your kids, have fun with yourself in a very responsible way. Okay? So what I mean is, don't take yourself so seriously that you don't allow yourself to have fun while you're working, that you don't allow yourself to enjoy life while you're succeeding at life. Success does not have to cost you your happiness. And it does not have to cost you your relationships either. And that's what to-do lists are for. So one extreme is having just 3 bullet points on your to-do list, and those things are huge things that are daunting, and it's difficult to take them on and stay focused. The other extreme is having 3,000 billion things on your to-do list, and now you're just overwhelmed with however many things to do. It's different for everyone, but find what works for you. Find your middle ground. Find your balance, your homeostasis. In Habakkuk 2, the Bible, the good book says to write the vision down. God said to write the vision down, make it plain. And of course, it goes on to say something along the lines of so that he that is running can see it, or can read it, or something like that. I say something like that, but please look it up. Habakkuk 2, verse 2. Okay, that's for those of you that desire to check the verse out in the Bible. And of course, context is important, but within that verse, it's quite literally summed up in the first few sentences about writing the vision down and making it plain so that people can run with it. Or another interpretation of that would be so that if somebody is running, that they can still read it. It's just plain. It's not complicated with this many steps, because otherwise you're doomed to be overwhelmed by it. You're doomed to fail. And here at LFTM, we don't want you to fail. We want you to learn the lessons from mundane things like a list. We talked about grocery lists previously. Right now, this is a to-do list. And in closing, I hope that, the examples that I've given you, the example that I gave you of spring cleaning is meaningful to you, especially that part about, don't just make it about the goal. Add something goofy in between that can help you to lighten the mood, something that you can actually accomplish and like smile at myself in the mirror if your goal for the end of the year is to have a better personality, to be more friendly with people. If that's your goal by the end of the year, create a to-do list of like smiling and laughing at yourself in the mirror every day. It'll be weird for the first couple months, but then after that, you'll be looking forward to it when you're having the rough day. You'll be looking forward to it when you're having that spout with your significant other or whatever, and it'll help you to refocus and then fix things with them in the long run. It's so beneficial. So, although to-do lists be mundane, their lessons forever remain. My name is Jason, or you can call me Jace. This was LFTM, or Lessons from the Mundane. Again, the show where you and I are able to glean life-giving lessons from everyday things all around us. And I, your humble host, speak favor and fulfillment over you. It's up to you to accept it, to receive it, to claim it, name it and claim it, and apply it in your life. Just know that you're blessed and you're favored and you've got this. But write it down. Okay. Hope you guys have a great week. And next week you'll get the teaser for what's coming up in, 2 weeks from now, I guess. And we'll go from there. But yeah, get yourself a nice sandwich, man. Or, pour yourself a cold one with the boys or the girls. I don't know, but just take care of yourself. Okay, I'll stop rambling. I'm sorry. Anyway, all right, I love you guys. Bye. Oh, man. Yes, I am.